basketball.
Spectacular move by Michael Jordan.
Lace them up. It's time for 1010XL's Open Gym. Leading the break, here's RJ Saunders.
And it is the basketball show for the basketball fan on a little bit of a wet, rainy, or the rain is supposed to come. Sunday edition, Players Championship, still going on in Ponte Vedra. And we thank you for joining us here on 1010XL, talking a little round ball on the First Coast. We will still have players updates for you throughout the program and throughout the day here on the Superstation. Your way on to the show, as always, is a text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures, 641-1010, or on our digital studios, wherever you are listening to the program, whether that be on X, YouTube, or Facebook. We appreciate your time with us here on Open Gym. The question of the day, I was rewatching this show called Open Court that NBA TV used to do with Ernie Johnson and a few of the NBA TV guys / NBA on TNT guys. And they were talking about the 90s and the great teams of the 90s. And Ernie Johnson, I'll try my best to impersonate him, said when you talk about the great teams of the 90s, you bring up the Chicago Bulls, and that's where we'll start our conversation. So I want to know from you, if the Bulls weren't the Bulls in the 90s, who would have been the team of the 90s? Michael went 6 in 10 years, took a year and a half off to play baseball. The Houston Rockets win 2 in a row. They go back-to-back in the years that Jordan was out. Of course, one year he did come back. He would be eliminated in the second round by the Orlando Magic, who would eventually lose to the Houston Rockets as the Rockets went and won their first championship. You also have the Detroit Pistons, who won in 1990. But if the Bulls were not the Bulls in the 90s, who would you think would have the best chance of being the team of the 90s in that decade? 641-1010. Now, this first topic I didn't want to talk about. I know it happened last week, and I didn't bring it up for a reason. I don't like making the shows about one person. Everybody does their thing about LeBron James and GOAT, not GOAT, don't like his play style. But if you had been following sports news and sports media, sports Twitter, LeBron James and Stephen A. Smith have their little back and forth during a Lakers game in Los Angeles against the Knicks. And it certainly did not look like it was staged. LeBron's in the middle of a timeout, walks to Stephen A., who's sitting right next to the Los Angeles Lakers bench. I think he said he was there with his agent and also sitting next to Larry David. And LeBron goes up to Stephen A. Smith. Keep my son's name out of your mouth. Leave my son out of this. Yada, 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 yada. Now, remember we had this conversation over the summer where we discussed that fathers are blinded by love. And I don't think that enough fathers get enough respect for having that love for their children. Maybe even in the sports world, I understand that that's magnified, but if we're going to name a few names in the sports world, a la LeBron James, a la Deion Sanders, a la LeVar Ball. LeBron James, when it comes to the whole Bronny situation, I understand, or at least it's understood, he flexed his muscle. And although this has never been said publicly, I believe that enough of us have the belief system that LeBron James said, hey, Los Angeles, I saved you guys from what would have been a lengthy rebuild if I didn't come to LA in 2019. I brought a championship to LA, whether people want to call it a bubble championship or not. I understand that. But, hey, do me this favor and draft my son, Bronny. Now, fathers, as we said, can be blinded by love. Remember LeVar Ball. My son's going to be better than Steph Curry. He's Penny Hardaway. That's the type of guard in which he is. He's not that Kendall Marshall type guard. Eventually, I do feel like he has to back up that statement and add the, quote, to me. But we've all seen dads say outlandish things, especially sports dads, to where you say, listen, I'm glad you're here in your son's life. I love the fact that you believe in your son like this, but maybe saying that he is going to be a Penny Hardaway type guard or he's better than Steph Curry, maybe something you shouldn't say out loud. Now, remember the tweet he puts out. I think it gave fair criticism. That he said, LeBron James, my son could play in the NBA right now. He was still in college at the time. My son could play in the NBA right now and have meaningful minutes on a roster. I remember one of the first tweets LeBron puts out when Bronny got to USC was there were individuals that were mocking him in the top 10. I believe it was going to be to the Atlanta Hawks. LeBron James makes that post, we're going to continue putting the work in, but I tried to tell you guys about my son and, he's going to be the next great. He's going to carry on the legacy, right? He has, aside from the health scare, wasn't all that great his first year at SC. People are starting to criticize, at least in the Twitter sphere of us lounge chair, CBS, Infinity Sports Network, ESPN, Fox analyst from the couch. And it's, hey, my son is 18, 19 years old. Let him be a kid. Let him grow up. Now, when it comes to the LeBron James and Stephen A. Smith back and forth, could LeBron have gone about this a different way? Of course he could have. I mean, I think I'm asking you as a dad is a little bit too much. I mean, we've seen kids of star athletes or former athletes, they've got cooked every day. It's the NBA. Not everybody's going to have a great game all the time, but I do think that we understand that Bronny James is not ready yet. Now, he did play very well against the Denver Nuggets, right? Where he played some meaningful minutes. I believe he was a +8. I think that's the best he's done since he's played in the NBA. But it's clear to see that he is not ready for NBA basketball as of yet. And a lot of this is because he has played with his dad or he has his dad's last name. But there were many scouts that said, I don't know if we would draft him if his last name wasn't James. I'm pulling for Bronny. Now, I will say that. I am pulling for him. But I don't think that he is above criticism just because his last name is James. Right? But I do not like how Stephen A. is going about this to where now it wants to be, this is soft, this is weak, because when LeBron James came to your face, it wasn't soft. It wasn't weak. Heck, you came on the TV show First Take and you said that I was talking to a dad. I wasn't talking to the LeBron James. I think any father, I have a father in the room right now in Casey, who I don't care how old his kids get, you do wrong by his kid, you're doing wrong by him, and Casey would probably get in the middle of all of it.
100.
His kids. He'll crash out about his kids. I'm sure you'll crash out about yours. But have we gotten to a place to where now people have to be nervous or afraid to say anything about Bronny? I think the Lakers have done a good job of kind of keeping Bronny under wraps. He's in the G League. He's not doing what they initially said he would do, that he'd be there for all the away games. And when they played at home games, he would play with the South Bay Lakers. I think they've done a much better job now of just letting him stay, letting him play in the G League. And every so often, because he's a two-way player, I believe, and his contract is fully guaranteed, let him continue to develop. if J.J. Redick is saying that this is going to be our first litmus test to see what we do in terms of player development under my regime. Can Bronny be a solid player in the NBA? Maybe. We don't know yet. But I think journalistically, maybe Stephen A. went about it the wrong way. Maybe you should not go in the standpoint of, I'm trying to speak to you as a dad. I don't think you can tell dads how to raise their kids if they're raising them the right way. I just don't think how they raise them. This is not a community project, at least for them, at least for dads. Let me know, 641-1010. But in no way is Bronny above reproach, at least in my opinion. But those are my thoughts. I would love to hear yours, 641-1010 on our text line or on our digital studios, whether that be YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter. Now, Steph Curry, it's being brought up again after he surpassed the 4,003 mark in NBA history. Should his name be in the GOAT conversation? We'll discuss that next, but first we do have a player's update for you. Let's go to Ponte Vedra,
where electrifying moments come to life
Inside of a minute to play.
and legendary performances live.
A monumental milestone in a legendary career.
1010XL, the power of Jacksonville Sports Radio. The Players Championship. Here's a 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Leaderboard update.
I'm Tori Edwards with your Players Championship update. This update's brought to you by Universal Roof and Contracting and San Jose Collision. It's a windy day out at TPC Sawgrass. It's 75 degrees at 11 o'clock as the fourth and final day of the Players Championship is underway. The PGA announced schedule changes yesterday due to today's severe weather forecast. The final round tee times were pushed up to 8 to 10 a.m., with players being sent split tees and threesomes. JJ Spawn is alone at the top of the leaderboard after firing a 2 under 70 to reach 12 under overall. We have a tie for second with Akshay Bhatia, who birdied 3 of his first 4 holes and is 3 under through 5 on the day. And Rory McIlroy, who shot his first career eagle on number 2 to reach 11 under overall and is 3 under through 4. They're followed by a tie for 4 with Bud Cauley, who is 2 over through 4 on the day, and Patrick Cantlay at 2 under through 5 today and 9 under overall. At last look, 2-time defending Players champion Scottie Scheffler is tied for 21 and is 4 under through 8 today. That was your Players Championship update. This update was brought to you by Renewal by Henderson and Corona Premier.
Attention skilled electricians. Are you undervalued at your current company? Time to step up to the bigger projects and better opportunities. Join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just the job, but an experienced, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work. Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com, an equal opportunity employer.
Don here from Taco Lou. Now that football is out of the way and the weather is getting nicer, it's time for more golf. Well, for me anyway. But if you love golf and you love tacos, you come see us out at 12. Tacos on 12, that is every day at the Players Championship. We're celebrating 12 years out on the golf course this year, and man, we love it. And the Lou crew is looking forward to it. So much so that we're even open at the restaurant on Monday during tournament week. So no one will miss out on a banging shrimp or two. We'll see you live at the Players at Taco Lou in Jacksonville Beach.
Get more Gators on the Gator Bites podcast presented by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists with new episodes every Friday. Subscribe and listen by searching for 1010XL's Gator Bites podcast wherever you find podcasts and at 1010XL.com.
Hi, I'm Jeff Breyer, president of Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring.
And I'm Zach Breyer. When my dad started in business in 1990, I wasn't even born yet.
That's true. And after 35 years and nearly 20,000 satisfied customers, we literally have a showroom in every neighborhood.
So whether you need more outdoor living space with a glass or screen enclosure, or you're looking to transform your home with new flooring, we've got you covered.
Visit our websites, or better yet, do yourself a favor and stop by one of our showrooms on Phillips Highway to experience the Lifetime difference and receive 20% off your purchase now through March.
What's the major difference between a crocodile and an alligator? The answer next.
Lightning, storms, and hurricane winds can ruin recent home improvements. Let Southern Oak Insurance review your policy today. Visit us online at southernoakins.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
While an alligator will see you later, a crocodile will see you after a while.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Did you know your pup could take 30,000 to 60,000 steps a day at Dogtopia of Jacksonville Beach Boulevard? That's a whole lot of tail wagging fun with their best furry friends. At Dogtopia, they turn playtime into exercise, learning, and socialization in their off-leash, open play environment. Dogs build confidence, reduce anxiety, and stay happy and healthy, all while having the time of their lives. Visit Dogtopia of Jacksonville Beach Boulevard today.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
He's without question probably the greatest three-point shooter until said otherwise, if we have one greater that's on the come. But Steph Curry this past week eclipsed 4,000 career threes. He's the only person in NBA history to have that stat. And it certainly is incredible because, as Charles Barkley pointed out, here's a guy that was nearly going to be traded to Milwaukee. If you remember that Milwaukee trade that included Monte Ellis, it was supposed to be Steph Curry in that trade. But they decided to renege. They decide to give up Monte Ellis. Golden State was, at least the fan base, was a little bit disturbed, disappointed by the fact that they let go of a fan favorite in Monte. Some reports when Steph Curry initially got to the league, his scouting report said he'll be just like his dad, which was probably going to be something saying nothing spectacular, but he'll have a long career in the league as a three-point specialist. And he had ankle issues early in his career, if you remember. Golden State ends up making the right decision by keeping Steph Curry. Teams such as the LA Clippers, who had the number 1 pick, I don't know if I say they went the wrong way with Blake Griffin. I think they maximized what they could have been as a Clippers organization. They could have won an NBA championship, but for whatever reason, they got in their own way. Minnesota had back-to-back picks, and you chose Ricky Rubio and I believe Johnny Flynn. New York had an opportunity, decided not to go with Steph Curry. Without question, one of the all-time great players in NBA history. The reason why I bring this up, however, is because Shaquille O'Neal is back on his high horse saying that Steph Curry should belong in that GOAT conversation. And I want to know from you, 641-1010, do you feel that he has a point? For me, we've never heard of the greatest three-point shooter ever or a great three-point shooter being in the GOAT debate. Now, at the same time, a three-point shooter we've had as the face of the franchise or the third best player on an NBA championship team. Three-point specialists have been all-stars. But Steph Curry, I think Shaq is trying to create an argument because you are saying that this is the second best guy in an era, or at least the 1A in an era that was given to LeBron James in the 2010s. And in the same LeBron era, he won 4 NBA titles, with the fourth one being one where we thought the championship window was closed, dead and gone. And he defeated said face of the franchise and has been so for the last decade and a half. Some may say even longer. He beat LeBron James 3 times. Now, if you want to bring Kevin Durant into the equation, I hear you. But isn't it interesting that in a LeBron James dominated era, a shooter at that, defeated you 3 times and won a 4th one with, I would argue, lesser talent than LeBron James had on those Laker teams after the bubble. This is just me. I would love to hear your argument. 641-1010. We've never seen a player that has scored 25,000 points in their career be considered the greatest ever or amongst the greatest ever. I'm just talking about in the GOAT debate. Not in the 80s, not in the 90s, not in the 2000s. I talk about that show, Open Court, where Ernie's talking to former NBA players. I mean, they were getting mad over the fact that Bill Walton is in the Hall of Fame. He only scored 8,000 points in the NBA. So I guess some of them question whether or not he should be in the Hall, but I understand the NBA Hall of Fame is all-encompassing. The Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. I always like to call it the NBA Hall of Fame, but Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. But in the NBA, by NBA standards, he only scored 8,000 career points. Kawhi Leonard is going to get into the NBA Hall of Fame. I think at the time when I had a conversation with John O'Leary here at the station, he only had 19,000 career points. But Steph Curry has changed the league in a way I don't think anybody could have ever seen. We've had Reggie Miller. We've had Ray Allen. Heck, I mean, we've had guys who just used to chuck it up from 3, guys like Dana Barros. Steph Curry's the guy that made the 3 more incredible than the dunk. He's a finals MVP. He's a unanimous league MVP, the first ever. Has 3-point record after 3-point record after 3-point record that may never be touched by anyone in NBA history. But heck, I mean, we thought that nobody was going to touch Kareem's record, right? So there may be someone that's out there that's able to get close. But for me, I don't believe he belongs in the GOAT debate. Now, Jeff Teague brings up this point that I believe makes me and could make you go, So the Golden State Warriors have now acquired Jimmy Butler. I believe they have only lost twice since Jimmy Butler has joined the roster. They've gone from a team where you said they were going to be in the play-in to where now they get the right matchups in the playoffs, and Steph Curry is Steph, and Jimmy is his 1A. Could they make it to the Western Conference Finals? Not saying they are. But like we know in the NFL and the MLB, NBA, when it comes to the playoffs, it's all about getting hot at the right time. Golden State is surely getting hot at the right time. Could this continue into April, May, and June? If Steph Curry is to win one more NBA championship before he hangs it up, and many think he may have 3 more years left, are we putting him in a wing, in a hallway, catacornered to one Kobe Bryant? Where you have some that say he's the GOAT, and then you have some that say, well, he's at least top 5 all time. And many may say, I can't respect a list without Steph Curry in it in your top 5. Because there are many people that say, like Tracy McGrady, I can't respect a list of the greatest of all time or the top 5 greatest of all time, and you don't have Kobe Bryant in it. I think Kenny Smith said, listen, you have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, and I believe he put Magic Johnson there. He said that's the GOAT debate. That's the 4 you can argue who's the GOAT to him. And Shaq said, well, hold on, what about Kobe? And Kenny Smith, I believe he feels it's a reach. Many probably feel it's a reach because Kobe copied a lot of Jordan, but I believe Kobe also created his own lane. And he made you feel something that was undeniable. Was it better than Jordan? Maybe. Many would say no, and I can understand why. If you're saying, well, Kobe was just the remix to Michael Jordan. Could Steph Curry be on the same train if he wins 5 titles? That would make 5 in the LeBron James era. And if they were to retire tomorrow, that means Steph Curry got more championships than LeBron James. I'm not saying he's better than LeBron. But as Steph Curry, in your mind, like Shaq is trying to argue, does he get into that conversation? I was looking at it before the show. Look, nobody that is in... So Steph Curry's 26th all-time in scoring. Nobody from 10, starting with Carmelo Anthony, through 26 all-time in scoring has ever been considered the GOAT or has come close to being considered the GOAT. Tim Duncan's at 17. We consider him probably the greatest power forward of all time. There are many others who believe that Kevin Garnett is the greatest power forward of all time. I guess it just depends on how you feel. Kevin Garnett's 20th of all time in scoring. Carmelo Anthony, probably one of the greatest scorers we've ever seen on the planet, is a top 10 scorer of all time. Never viewed him as such. Now, I will say this. LeBron, Kareem, Malone, Kobe, Jordan, Dirk, Wilt, KD, Shaq, and Melo. I am counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a possible 6 out of those 10 that have been considered the GOATs. Shaq, who we're talking about here, Bill Simmons put it amazingly to me, especially in his book. Shaq's the guy that could have graduated with a 4.0 in college, but he was fine with a 3.7. Cheryl Miller just said LeBron James is the greatest player of all time due to the fact that he is probably one of the greatest, or if not the greatest, physical specimen we've ever seen. Shaq was a force of nature. That's another conversation for another day. But does Steph, who's 26 all-time in scoring, and the all-time leading three-point shooter, get the nod from you as one of the greatest of all time? Does he crack the Jordan, Kobe, LeBron argument? Let me know. 641-1010. When we come back, let's talk about the Los Angeles Clippers. They're in that rung where they'll have to make the playoffs via the play-in, but could they hurt a team's feelings once we get to the postseason? We talk about that with Lawrence Murray of The Athletic next. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
He was the best back in Jacksonville.
It has to be Fred Taylor.
Fred Taylor joins Dan and Jeff on The Drill Monday mornings at 8:30.
A tough guy.
Monday morning running back with Fred Taylor is fueled by Epstein & Robbins and Monahan Jewelers.
Ahead, we build platforms for digital business. We help create your platform for digital business by weaving together advances in cloud infrastructure, intelligent operations, and modern applications. Digital business is comprised of 5 pillars. We call them imperatives because they're a must-have, not a nice-to-have. We enterprise cloud, integrated security, scaled DevOps, intelligent operations, and relentless automation. Need help with digital transformation? Ahead. Learn, grow, achieve.
Hey, this is Darren with One Call Lawn and Pest Control. Since 2011, we have taken great pride in being Northeast Florida's premier lawn, termite, and pest control company. Our technicians receive thorough training year-round, focusing on exceptional customer service with meticulous attention to detail. One Call serves the greater Jacksonville area, including St. Augustine, Orange Park, and Fernandina. We're eager for the opportunity to earn your business and welcome you to the One Call family. Call or text us for a free quote. 413-8377.
The hoops action continues on the first Friday of the tourney. Watch the madness with 1010XL and enjoy madness specials all day long. starting with Helmets and Heels, live from Big Dog Sports Restaurant on Blanding. Then join XL Primetime at Barley and Pie in Fleming Island. The Frangie Show will be at String Sports Brewery in Jacks Beach, and finish the day with Into the Night with Rick Ballou and Hacker After Dark at Top Dog Tavern on Old St. Augustine Road. Now that's the way to celebrate who?
I can't believe it! Let's take a look inside 1010XL.
Who wants the Grand Tour? That would be terrific. That would be great.
We have the drill in the morning.
Very amusing.
Jaguars today from 10 to noon.
Good.
Helmets and Heels until 2.
Yes.
XL Primetime and the Frangie Show afternoons.
This is great.
Then Ballou and Hacker take you into the night.
All in one location.
1010XL.
Your tax refund is here. Why not invest in your home? Superior Fence and Rail helps you build value with beautiful, durable fences that boost your home security, privacy, and curb appeal. With expert installation and financing options, turning your yard into an outdoor oasis is easier than ever. Reinvest in your home today with Superior Fence and Rail.
When you're on the fence, about the fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Hey everybody, Jennifer Marion with Randy Marion Cadillac in Jacksonville here to say hello, and we'd sure like to have your business.
You know what? They're going to love the king of price.
My dad believes in making great deals and having a great selection in stock.
Cadillac XT4s, XT5s, and XT6s, and Escalades.
The all-electric Cadillac Lyriq.
CT4s and CT5s.
Cadillac luxury and selection is just waiting for you.
At Randy Marion Cadillac, Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville.
And don't forget, tell them Jennifer sent ya.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
The Players Championship. Here's a 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Leaderboard Update.
I'm Tori Edwards with your Players Championship update. This update's brought to you by Dermagnified Medical, Surgical, and Cosmetic Dermatology and Performance Painting. It's a windy day out at TBC Sawgrass. It's 76 degrees at 11:30 with scattered rain as the fourth and final day of the Players Championship is underway. The PGA announced schedule changes yesterday due to today's weather forecast for severe thunderstorms. The final round tee times were pushed to 8 to 10 a.m., with players being sent split tees and threesomes. JJ Spawn now has company at the top of the leaderboard. He has won over through 5 on the day to drop for a three-way tie for first with Akshay Bhatia and Rory McIlroy, with all at 11 under overall. Bhatia birdied 3 of his first 4 holes and is 3 under through 6 on the day. And McIlroy shot his first career eagle on number 2 to reach 3 under through 5. They're followed by a tie between Ken Colley, who's 2 over through 4 on the day, and Tom Hoagie with 5 under through 10, with both at 9 under overall. That was your Players Championship update. This update was brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter, Septic Plumbing and AC, and Campione Law.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and there's so many cool products that are on the line at Cycles of Jacksonville. Showrooms, Atlantic and Regency, and we're talking, Greg, you've got from any level of price point, the experienced rider to the inexperienced on-road, off-road.
We've got it. We've got ATVs. We've got motorcycles. We've got scooters. We even have the new Honda boats. We've got something for everyone.
Don't forget about the boat line from Honda. It's all right there, waiting for you. Atlantic and Regency or Cycles of Jacksonville's Facebook page.
Picking here for Bow 9 Associates, where you'll find Jacksonville's most esteemed eye doctors at each of their locations. After being selected for one of the most competitive ophthalmology fellowships in the world, Dr. Frank Bowden is frequently called upon for his expert opinion. He is currently one of the few cornea and external disease specialists in the area and the founder of Bow 9. Visit Bow 9 Associates today and experience the difference. Bow 9 Associates, keeping the First Coast focused.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Instant Keys saves the day if you have lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call 722-1111.
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
At the First Coast YMCA, you'll find much more than just a gym. We offer many ways to help you become more active, reach your weight loss goals, and find your inner strength. Membership at the Y includes state-of-the-art facilities, a huge variety of fitness classes, and programs for all ages. It's easy to join the Y since it's affordable for all incomes. The Y is a great place to make connections and experience something new. Visit the YMCA near you or online at fcymca.org.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Still awaiting the arrival of Lawrence Murray from The Athletic. Talk all things Los Angeles Clippers. The Clippers do play tonight against the Charlotte Hornets. Clippers also a team that, should they make the playoffs, would be facing the Minnesota Timberwolves in the play-in. And they would face, right now, the Houston Rockets if they were to keep that seventh, or if they were to keep the 7th seed. I think that would be a pretty good series. Houston has a lot to prove. Also a team that looks as if they are not ready yet. Will definitely be interesting to see. But when I continue looking at the playoffs, want to get your guys' input on it. What is a series that kind of interests you right now? So here are the standings out east. You have Cleveland, Boston, New York, Milwaukee, Indiana, Detroit, Atlanta, Orlando, Miami, and Chicago. Now, those last 4 teams in which I named, they'll be fighting to get into the playoffs via the play-in. And out west, you have the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Rockets, the Nuggets, the Grizzlies. The Lakers have now free-fallen. They were number 2 for some time. They have now dropped to 5. The Golden State Warriors at 6, and your play-in teams would be Minnesota, the Clippers, Sacramento, and Dallas. Would a first-round series of the Lakers and Grizzlies excite you? I think it would for me. Here's a Grizzlies team that I think a lot of people have been out on due to the fact that Ja Morant, he was in everyone's face before he had his off-the-court issues. Now they're a team that's kind of flown under the radar. Now, Ja has been in and out for quite some time this season for Memphis. Jaren Jackson Jr. has done everything that he is capable of doing to keep this team afloat. At one point, they were the second best team in the West. And I do believe over these next 15 to 20 games, we're going to see a lot of changing in the Western Conference. And seeding is going to be certainly important. The series that I would love to see most right now in the West, because the Thunder and the Rockets would be awaiting who they would face in the first round, the Nuggets and the Warriors. Now, the Nuggets and the Warriors, I do believe that, and this is what I was talking about with Steph Curry, this may be the matchup in which they want. You go small against Nikola Jokic. I'm pretty sure you'll probably have Jimmy Butler guarding Jamal Murray. Will certainly be a series that goes at least 6 or 7. And if Steph Curry is who Steph Curry is, you may have a chance to beat the Denver Nuggets in the first round. Now, I don't think that that's a team that is a pretending team, but doesn't it feel like the aura and the magic in Denver has gone a little bit, right? They don't seem like that scary team. They have a scary player in Nikola Jokic. And they also have a scary individual at times, at least when he faces my Los Angeles Lakers, Jamal Murray. hitting yet another game winner on the Lakers. But not a team to where I say, I think they can make it back to the NBA Finals. Or even the Western Conference Finals at that point. Don't know. Out east, if the playoffs were to start today, the Bucks and the Pacers. Now remember, the Pacers defeated the Bucks early on in the first round. The Bucks really seem like a flying under the radar team. And that's funny to say because you have Giannis and Dame on that squad. More pretenders to me than contenders. Indiana, I've really not heard anything about Indiana. I'm surprised they're the 5. They haven't moved an inch to me since making the Eastern Conference Finals last season. Then you have the Knicks and the Pistons. Now, the Pistons have been the feel-good story of the NBA season this year. Here was a team, I believe they were bottom feeders last year. I want to say either last or next to last in the East. You bring in J.B. Bickerstaff after firing Monty Williams, who I would love to hear the story as to why the Cavs decided to part ways with J.B. Bickerstaff to bring in Kenny Atkinson. But he's come to Detroit, made Cade Cunningham an all-star. They've brought savvy vets in there. They're a scrappy team with guys like Isaiah Stewart who wants to fight the world. And you also have Jalen Duren. But would that be a good matchup against the Knicks? And it could be. The New York Knicks, they're starting to remind me of the Atlanta Hawks. You remember those Atlanta Hawks teams with Joe Johnson and Al Horford? Great regular season team, but when it came to the playoffs, it just never matriculated to anything. Could the Knicks be that team that they'll make the playoffs and they may win a first round series? They could sweep Detroit. They could win in 5. Detroit could push that to 6. And then you get into the next round and you're thinking, okay, New York looked good and they beat a team they were supposed to in the playoffs. But when it comes to those teams, remember, they haven't won any games of meaning against the elites out east, that being Boston, Cleveland, I believe the Thunder as well. I think they're 0-9 overall against those teams. Then you have the Heat, the Bulls, the Hawks, and the Magic fighting for the play-in. Now, if Orlando is to be the 7th seed in this year's NBA playoffs, you face Boston, a team you could have faced last year. I don't know what to make of the Magic now. I think this season's a wash for them. I think they'll reload over the summer. This offseason is going to be incredibly, incredibly critical for them if they want to be successful. If they are to be the 8th seed, they'll face Cleveland. Now, without question, Cleveland is a much better team than they were last year. Can you hold up now without Jalen Suggs if you're the Orlando Magic? And Paolo's putting up his numbers. Franz is giving you buckets. That 3-point shooting is distasteful in Central Florida. And we'll have Dante Marchitelli and others come on the program in the weeks to come once we get to the playoffs to see what chance are they giving them against those top 2 seeds. But maybe they can go on a little bit of a run here. I was told that they have one of the more easier schedules in all the NBA, and they're not finishing ball games. Against the T-Wolves, they couldn't finish. They had the lead. They couldn't finish it. Certainly going to be interesting to see who's a team that you feel is flying under the radar and could hurt some teams' feelings in the NBA playoffs. 641-1010. Now, we got some text on the text line and appreciate you guys for listening in on today's program. I understand that we have the Players Championship, but talking a little round ball here in Jacksonville. The 551 says you have to be elite defensively to be considered the GOAT. Sorry, Steph. Has the NBA changed now? Do you believe? I feel like the NBA has gone through a change. When you talk about LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, both, they're all three of them are two-way players. All three. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, greatest scorer of all time, could also get it done defensively. But Steph Curry changed the game in a way we've never seen. Steph Curry now has everyone in the NBA saying we need three-point shooters, or our best players need to be able to knock down threes at a high clip if we want to win. We had never seen that before. We've had Reggie, we've had Ray, we've had those guys, but not from the standpoint to where they were changing the whole entire landscape of the NBA. You have 3 cone drills, you're taught, run around the cone, go through the lane, lay it up and in. Now, guys, they're running to the corner, they're running to the wing, top of the key, trailing. Because of Steph. And in the LeBron James dominated era, the three-point shooting, which we believed he and Clay could not get it done being three-point shooters. There's no way your best players can be three-point shooters for you to win a championship. Well, they did it 4 times. This wasn't some flash in the pan with Steph Curry. We've seen it now for the better part of a decade plus. Does that now put him in the argument of greatest of all time? Shaq seems to believe so. It's not to me. Scoring 25,000 total points. 718, when talking about Kobe Bryant and does he believe he belongs in the GOAT conversation, Kobe was an evolution, not a remix. Yes, I put Magic in the top 5. Jalen Rose believes that he was the remix. I'm sure many others believe that Kobe was the remix. But, I mean, hey, look. The NBA was looking for their next Jordan. When Jordan left in 93, they were looking for the next Jordan. They thought it could be Vince Carter because of the whole North Carolina thing. They tried other names such as Michael Finley. Kobe came the closest. Kobe certainly came the closest. And did he turn that up just a little bit more to put him past Mike? Many would say no. Many would say no, but I have Kobe as my number 2. And you can call me a bit biased, but he made me feel something LeBron James has not. And I'm of the world now that maybe I didn't appreciate LeBron James as much as I should have because I'm that much of a Kobe fan. But even watching him now, it's incredible what he does, but there's no to it. If that makes any sense to you. But that's going to do it for us here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM Open Gym. Casey Dobson, we thank him as well. Maybe we will have Lawrence Murray on the program another time. However, make sure to tune in next week. We'll have more NBA basketball for you. We'll also have some March Madness going on as well. It is that time of year, hoops action across the country, and we'll discuss it every Sunday morning right here on Open Gym. So for Casey Dobson, I'm RJ Saunders. We will talk to you next week.